It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 22nd. Today's word is mesmerize, spelled M-E-S-M-E-R-I-Z-E. Mesmerize is a verb. It means to hold the attention of someone entirely, to interest or amaze someone so much that nothing else is seen or noticed. The word is often used in the phrase to be mesmerized. Here's the word used in a sentence from Women's Health by Corinne Miller. Yep, Ruth Handler ended up naming two of her iconic dolls after her kids. The idea for Barbie and Ken stemmed from a family Europe trip in 1956. Barbara, then still a teenager, saw a doll that looked like an adult woman in a store window in Switzerland and was mesmerized. Experts can't agree on whether Franz Anton Mesmer, who lived from 1734 to 1815, was a quack or a genius. But all concede that the Swabian physician's name is the source of the word mesmerize. In his day, Mesmer was the toast of Paris, where he enjoyed the support of notables, including Queen Marie Antoinette. He treated patients with therapeutic procedures called, appropriately enough, mesmerism, involving what he claimed was a mysterious force termed animal magnetism. Many believe that mesmerism was what we now call hypnotism. Accordingly, the verb mesmerize was first used to mean to subject to mesmerism, before broadening to be synonymous with the word hypnotize, and later to mean to amaze or captivate. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 21st. Today's word is regimen, spelled R-E-G-I-M-E-N. Regimen is a noun. Regimen refers to a plan or set of rules about something such as food or exercise, designed to make someone become or stay healthy. Here's the word used in a sentence from Fashionista.com by Janelle Sessoms. For those with natural hair, taking on a protective hairstyle is more than an expectation. It's a symbolic rite of passage. That said, tucking your hair into a protective style is not an excuse to completely disregard all hair care practices. If anything, it's the exact opposite. Establishing an effective hair care regimen is essential to maximizing and maintaining a protective style, so once it's removed, both the scalp and hair are healthy and happy. Being but humble lexicographers, we can't say whether an apple a day truly keeps the doctor away. But as far as regimens go, one could do a lot worse than snacking on a Macintosh. The word regimen, which usually refers to a system of rules or guidelines, often for living a healthy life or taking a regular dose of exercise, comes ultimately from a Latin verb regere, meaning to direct. Regere led, in apple pie order, to the English word regimen, first by way of the Latin noun regimen, meaning steering or control, and then via the medieval Latin regimen, referring to a set of rules. Other regere descendants fell further from the tree, including the words correct, erect, region, rule, and surge. Be sure not to confuse regimen with another of its kin, regiment, which refers to a military unit, as so doing could upset the apple cart. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 20th. Today's word is churlish, spelled C-H-U-R-L-I-S-H. Churlish is an adjective. It's a formal word that means irritable and rude. Here's the word used in a sentence from the Chicago Tribune by Nina Metz. Ted Lasso has gradually become more of a light drama than a comedy, but it's such a pleasant one that it seems churlish to even point this out. In that dramatic vein, the show's depiction of Nate is more compelling than I might have anticipated. The series has never been particularly interested in validating the man-child archetype, but it is interested in how insecurity can manifest itself into toxic behavior, and Nate is the epitome of that. In Old English, the word ceorl, spelled C-E-O-R-L, referred to a free peasant, someone who was neither part of the nobility nor enslaved or in debt. In Anglo-Saxon England, which lasted roughly from the 5th to the 11th centuries, ceorls had many rights that peasants of lower social status did not, and a few even rose to the rank of thane. However, as most ceorls were driven into the class of unfree villeins over the centuries, especially following the Norman conquest, the connotation of the word ceorl, spelled C-H-E-R-L in Middle English, and then finally with a U, diminished as well, eventually coming to mean a lowly peasant, and later a rude, ill-bred person. Similarly, churlish began in Old English as a simple descriptor of someone with the rank of ceorl, but today it describes a boorish person or their rude and insensitive behavior. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 15th. Today's word is demure, spelled D-E-M-U-R-E. Demure is an adjective. When describing something observed, such as clothing or an attitude, demure means not attracting or demanding a lot of attention, making it a synonym of reserved and modest. When used to describe a person, it's usually applied to a girl or woman. It typically means quiet and polite, but it can also describe someone who puts on a show of false modesty, making it a synonym of the word coy. Here's the word used in a sentence from Hello Magazine by Emmy Griffiths. After his wife's near fall, Harry protectively stopped for a second to make sure she was okay before they carried on walking to the ceremony. The former Suits actress, who looked elegant and demure in a blue maxi dress, laughed off the near mishap and carried on walking. In the nearly 700 years that the word demure has been in use, its meaning has only shifted slightly. While it began solely as a descriptive term for people of quiet modesty and sedate reserve, those who don't draw attention to themselves, whether because of a shy nature or determined self-control, it came to be applied also to those whose modesty and reservation is more affectation than sincere expression. While demure sounds French and entered the language at a time when the native tongue of England was borrowing many French words from the Normans, the etymological evidence requires that we exercise restraint. Its origin remains obscure. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 13th. Today's word is abstain, spelled A-B-S-T-A-I-N. Abstain is a verb. To abstain from something is to choose not to do or have that thing. Abstain can also mean specifically to choose not to vote. Here's the word used in a sentence from Publishers Weekly. In this impassioned plea to restore native ecosystems, landscape designer Reynolds, The Garden Awakening, sets out to recruit green warriors to build arks or acts of restorative kindness on their land. Those looking to turn their gardens into arks should overcome the shame of having a messy garden, abstain from using fungicides, pesticides, and herbicides, cut back on concrete usage in landscaping so as to let the earth breathe as much as possible, and plant native flora. If you abstain, you're consciously, and usually with effort, choosing to hold back from doing something that you would like to do. Lucky for you, we'd never abstain from sharing a good bit of word history. Abstain traces back through Middle English and Anglo-French to the Latin verb abstinere, which combines with the prefix ab, meaning from, away, or off, with tenere, a Latin verb meaning to hold. Spanish speakers might recognize tenere's influence in the Spanish verb tener, meaning to have, hold, or take. Tenere has many offspring in English. Other descendants include the words contain, detain, maintain, obtain, pertain, retain, and sustain, as well as some words that don't end in T-A-I-N, such as tenant and tenacious. Abstain, like many of its cousins, has been used by English speakers since at least the 14th century. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 24th. Today's word is lionize, spelled L-I-O-N-I-Z-E. Lionize is a verb. To lionize someone is to treat them as a person of great interest or importance. Here's the word used in a sentence from The Atlantic by Isaac Fitzgerald. What I love about this memoir, which won the National Book Award for Nonfiction in 2019, is its incredible sense of place. Sarah M. Broom's story is submerged in one of the most lionized and complex cities in America, New Orleans. More specifically, she focuses on New Orleans East and the yellow shotgun house that the author's steadfast mother, Ivory May, bought in 1961, and where Broom grew up as the youngest of 12 siblings. Across time and across cultures, as evidenced from Chauvet-Pont d'Arc's paintings to The Lion King, lions have captured people's imaginations. Though the big cats themselves are fascinatingly complex, it's perhaps no surprise that humans have long projected qualities of bravery and regality upon the proverbial king of the beasts. It is precisely those and similar admirable qualities that led in the 18th century to the word lion being used for a person who is similarly well regarded, especially after a long and distinguished career in a particular field, such as Lion of the Senate or literary lion. This sense of lion imbues the verb lionize, which first appeared in English in the early 1800s to apply to acts of treating someone as perhaps deserving of roaring applause. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 11th. Today's word is injunction, spelled I-N-J-U-N-C-T-I-O-N. Injunction is a noun. It refers to an order from a court of law that says something must be done or must not be done. Here's the word used in a sentence from Business Insider. While a district court rejected the group's request for an emergency injunction at the end of June, the Fifth Circuit obliged, blocking the new rule from being carried out for the time being. Injunction, what's your function? When it first joined the English language in the 1400s, the word injunction referred to an authoritative command, and in the following century it developed a legal second sense, applying specifically to a court order. Both of these meanings are still in use. Injunction ultimately comes from the Latin verb injungere, meaning to enjoin, that is, to issue an authoritative command or order, which in turn is based on jungere, meaning to join. It is joined as a jungere descendant by several words, including the words junction, conjunction, enjoin, and join. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 27th. Today's word is nepotism, spelled Nepotism. Nepotism is a noun. It refers to favoritism based on kinship, and especially to the unfair practice of giving jobs and other favors to relatives. Here's the word used in a sentence from Quartz by Gabriella Riccardi. Venture to a certain corner of the internet and you'll find an uncanny kind of social satire, that of the wishful work design. There's the made-up meeting punctuality score, which tells you who among your invitees is most likely to show up to the brainstorm 10 minutes late. Or the fictitious LinkedIn nepotism disclosure, which adds a label to tell you which manager is actually just related to the boss. We happen to have neither Merriam's nor Webster's on our staff at Merriam-Webster, and familial connections to the company's founders don't provide an advantage to job applicants. If it were otherwise, we might be accused of nepotism, that is, favoritism based on kinship, especially in professional contexts. English speakers have kept the word nepotism in the family since the late 1600s, having adopted it from the French, who were inspired by Gregorio Letti's 1667 book Il Nepotismo di Roma. The English title is The History of the Pope's Nephews. The book explores a practice introduced by Pope Sixtus IV. During his papacy in the late 15th century, he granted many special favors to members of his family, in particular to his nephews. This practice of papal favoritism was carried on by his near successors. Today, nepotism is mostly associated with business and politics. In recent informal English use, the shortened form nepo has been hitched to the denigrating term baby, to refer especially to celebrities who had a parent or two who were also in the entertainment industry. With your Word of the Day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 26th. Today's word is grok, spelled G-R-O-K. Grok is a verb. To grok something is to understand it, both profoundly and intuitively. Here's the word used in a sentence from Vulture by Chelsea G. Summers. The thing that marketing teams can't fully grok is that TikTok interest is organic, growing like a mushroom, sending out spores that germinate and thread through existing cultural ephemera. The word grok may be the only English word that derives from Martian. Yes, we do mean the language of the planet Mars. No, we're not getting spacey. We've just ventured into the realm of science fiction. Grok was introduced in Robert A. Heinlein's 1961 science fiction novel, Stranger in a Strange Land. The book's main character, Valentine Michael Smith, is a Martian-raised human who comes to Earth as an adult, bringing with him words from his native tongue and a unique perspective on the strange ways of Earthlings. Grok was quickly adopted by the youth culture of America and has since peppered the vernacular of those who grok it. With your Word of the Day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for September 12th. Today's word is fallible, spelled F-A-L-L-I-B-L-E. Fallible is an adjective. It means capable of making mistakes or being wrong. Here's the word used in a sentence from Forbes by Kevin Collins. AI is fallible. We see biased responses. This is because of how AI models are trained. In other words, it's because of the data. Skewed data will lead to skewed results and misrepresentations. Humanum est errare is a Latin expression that translates as to err is human. Of course, cynics might say that it's also human to deceive. The history of the word fallible simultaneously recognizes both of these character flaws. In modern usage, fallible refers to one's ability to make mistakes, but it descends from the Latin verb fallere, which means to deceive. Fallible has been used to describe the potential for error since at least the 15th century. Other descendants of fallere in English, all of which actually predate fallible, include fallacy. The earliest, now obsolete meaning was guile or trickery, fault, false, and even the word fail. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for October 14th. Today's word is foliage, spelled F-O-L-I-A-G-E. Foliage is a noun. It refers to the leaves of a plant or of many plants. Here's the word used in a sentence from Travel and Leisure. Summer hiking is undeniably breathtaking, but there's something about the foliage of the fall that secures its spot as the best time of the year to get outside and enjoy the beauty of nature. Whether you're a casual leaf peeper or a card-carrying botanist, a staunch New Englander or a Caribbean beach bum, there's plenty to love about foliage, though the pronunciation of foliage has long been a point of contention among English speakers. Most commonly accepted is the trisyllabic foliage. However, there's no denying that the pronunciations foliage and foliage have also staked their claim. The first of these disputed pronunciations is consistent with the pronunciation of the IAGE ending in marriage and carriage. The second is often more fiercely denounced, in part because of its association with the non-standard spelling F-O-I-L-A-G-E. But there's redemption for this estranged pronunciation. Foliage traces back to the Middle French word feuille, meaning leaf, which is also the source of the English word foil, as in aluminum foil. When adopted by Middle English speakers, foil originally meant leaf. Love it or leaf it. There's just no taking the foil out of foliage. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for October 13th. Today's word is circumvent, spelled C-I-R-C-U-M-V-E-N-T. Circumvent is a verb. To circumvent something is to get around it in a clever and sometimes dishonest way, or if it's a rule or law, to avoid being stopped by it. Here's the word used in a sentence from the Los Angeles Times. Adrienne Finch already had several friends who were making money on YouTube, and following in their footsteps seemed like a way to circumvent several years of early career dues paying. So she turned down the Warner Brothers gig and instead took a job with a smaller digital-focused production company, one that would give her the space to build a YouTube following on the side. After a year, she left to focus on YouTube full-time. If you've ever felt as if someone was running circles around those trying to get something done, you have an idea of the origins of the word circumvent. It comes from the Latin word circumventus, a form of the verb circumvenire, meaning to surround or go around. Circumvenire combines the adjective circum, meaning in a circle around, with the verb venire, meaning to come. The earliest uses of circumvent referred to a tactic of hunting or warfare in which the quarry or enemy was encircled and captured. This meaning doesn't exactly square with modern uses of the word. Today, circumvent more often suggests avoidance than entrapment. To come full circle, it typically means to get around something or someone, as by evading a problem or avoiding the law. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for October 12th. Today's word is gullible, spelled G-U-L-L-I-B-L-E. Gullible is an adjective. Someone described as gullible is easily fooled or cheated. In other words, they are quick to believe something that is not true. Here's the word used in a sentence from Observer.com. It's true that reality television has grown to look more and more like The Truman Show in the quarter century following the film's release. But even more unnerving, so have we as viewers. In 1998, the movie's premise provoked dread. Now, though, we find easy humor and comfort in watching shows like it, in seeing a kind but gullible person bumble their way through a fake reality designed to strain credulity. The classic, oft-repeated seaside maxim reminding people to guard against being gullible goes like this: "Let a gull steal my fries once, shame on the gull. Let a gull steal my fries twice, shame on me." Okay, that's not really how the old saw goes, but on the off chance that you believed our little trick, you yourself were, however briefly, gullible, that is, easily duped. The adjective gullible grew out of the older verb gull, meaning to deceive or take advantage of. That gull originally meant to guzzle or gulp greedily, and comes from an even older gull, meaning throat or gullet. Another relative is the noun gull, referring to a person who is easy to cheat. However, no matter how much the seabirds we call gulls love to pilfer our potatoes, that avian gull has no relation and is instead of Celtic origin. We promise. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for October 16th. Today's word is acronym, spelled A-C-R-O-N-Y-M. Acronym is a noun. An acronym is a word formed from the first letter or letters of each one of the words in a phrase. Here's the word used in a sentence from CNN by James Jeffrey. Despite the innate human capacity to wander, particularly when bolstered by walking sticks, things will still go wrong. Here are a few of the most common ailments pilgrims will face. Sprained ankles. Follow the RICE acronym to reduce swelling and support healing. R, rest. Stop all activity and try not to put any weight on the ankle. I, ice. Apply an ice pack or bag of frozen peas wrapped in a thin towel for up to 20 minutes every 2 to 3 hours for about 2 days. C, compression. Wrap a bandage around the injury or wear a compression sock to support it. E, elevate. Keep it raised as much as possible. The word acronym fuses together two combining forms, acra meaning beginning and onym meaning name or word, both of which trace back to Greek. You may recognize onym in other familiar and older English words such as pseudonym and synonym. When acronym first entered English in the mid-20th century, likely influenced by or borrowed from the German word acronym, some usage commentators decreed that it should refer to combinations of initial letters that were pronounced as if they were whole words, such as radar and scuba, and be differentiated from an initialism, which is spoken by pronouncing the component letters, as in FBI or CEO. These days, however, that distinction is largely lost, and acronym is a common label for both types of abbreviation. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for October 11th. Today's word is veracity, spelled V-O-R-A-C-I-T-Y. Veracity is a noun. It refers to an immoderate eagerness or enthusiasm for something, or to an intense desire to eat or consume something. Here's the word used in a sentence from Forbes. Wildfires also emerged at tough-to-control veracity and speed, ravaging hundreds of thousands of acres across southern Europe and the U.S. Pacific Northwest. The insatiable word nerds among us will appreciate the word veracity. It's used to refer to both literal and figurative appetites that simply cannot be quelled. Veracity comes to us via Middle French from the Latin word voracitas, which itself comes from the combining of vorax, meaning voracious, with itas, the Latin equivalent of the English noun suffix ity. Veracity is one of two English words that mean the quality or state of being voracious. The other is voraciousness, which was once considered archaic but has made a comeback. Because veracity developed from non-English forerunners rather than being created in English from voracious as was voraciousness, the word may strike some English speakers as an unusual formation. It's not surprising, therefore, that the more familiar-looking voraciousness has reappeared, most likely through a process of reinvention by people unfamiliar with veracity. With your Word of the Day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for October 10th. Today's word is berserk, spelled B-E-R-S-E-R-K. Berserk is an adjective. It generally means markedly out of control due to intense anger or excitement. It's often used in the phrase go berserk, which can mean either to become very excited or to become very angry and often violent. Here's the word used in a sentence from the Los Angeles Times by Steve Appleford. The actor made his nightly entrance at the Roxy from the lobby to the stage, belting out the signature tune. Tim's entrance was phenomenal, recounts David Foster, the Grammy-winning composer and producer, who early in his career was the show's pianist. The place just went berserk because, of course, he was so much bigger than life. Combine a bear with a shirt, and what do you get? A cuddly, honey-loving ursine pal, perhaps. Combine the words bear and shirt, however, at least in Old Norse, and you get something quite different. Our English word berserk comes from the Old Norse noun berserker, which is likely a combination of bear, meaning bear, and serker, meaning shirt. According to Norse legend, berserkers were not ones to say, "oh bother," when faced with sticky situations. They were warriors who wore bearskin coverings and worked themselves into such frenzies during combat that they became immune to the effects of steel and fire. Berserk was borrowed into English, first as a noun referring to such a warrior, in the 19th century, when interest in Scandinavian myth and history was high. It was considered a slang term at first, but it has since gained a broader use. With your Word of the Day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for December 13th. Today's word is exhort, spelled E-X-H-O-R-T. Exhort is a verb. It means to try to strongly urge someone to do something. Here's the word used in a sentence from the Los Angeles Times by Reed Johnson. Now and again the band pauses as the musicians praise and exhort each other. More cowbell. Let's do it for timing, and then we'll break it down. I would love a violin solo right there. It's G minor, not B flat? If you want to add a little oomph to your urge in speech or writing, and formal oomph at that, we exhort you to try using exhort as a synonym instead. Arriving in the 15th century from the Anglo-French word exhorter, exhort traces back further to the Latin verb hortare, meaning to incite to action, urge on, or encourage. Latin users added the prefix ex to hortare to intensify it. In essence, exhortare is a succinct way of saying to really, really urge. The Latin words adhortare, its meaning similar to that of exhortare, and dehortare, meaning to dissuade, also found their way into English as adhort and dehort, respectively, but neither of these words remain in current use. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for December 12th. Today's word is mentor, spelled M-E-N-T-O-R. Mentor is a noun. A mentor is someone who teaches or gives help and advice to a less experienced and often younger person. Here's the word used in a sentence from Essence by Schuyler Mitchell. The grant supports individuals who are pushing boundaries as founders, educators, and artists. Awardees are matched with creative industry mentors who include the likes of stylist Zarina Akers and Hanifa's Anifa Muvwemba. Mentor is pretty ubiquitous in today's world as a word for anyone who is a positive guiding influence in another, usually younger person's life. But no matter your age, we're here to guide you through the word's history. Mentor comes originally from ancient Greek literature. In Homer's epic The Odyssey, Odysseus is away from home, fighting and journeying for 20 years. During that time, Telemachus, the son he left as a babe in arms, grows up under the supervision of Mentor, an old and trusted friend. When the goddess Athena decides it is time to complete the education of young Telemachus, she visits him disguised as Mentor, and they set out together to learn about his father. A version of Mentor later appeared as a major character in the Odyssey-inspired French novel The Adventures of Telemachus, from 1699, written by François Fénelon, after which it became a generic noun for trusted guide in French before being borrowed into English with the same meaning. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for December 11th. Today's word is quixotic, spelled Q-U-I-X-O-T-I-C. Quixotic is an adjective. It describes people and ideas that are foolishly impractical, especially as they pursue or relate to the pursuit of ideals. A quixotic person is often known for lofty romantic ideas or extravagantly chivalrous action. Quixotic can also describe things that are unpredictable. Here's the word used in a sentence from The Hollywood Reporter. Lena Dunham doesn't care if you love her or hate her. She only cares that she tells a story honestly. When it debuted on HBO in 2012, her stunningly authentic semi-autobiographical show rocked a TV ecosystem that primed audiences to expect a dark comedy about 4 white female friends in New York City to deliver a quixotic fantasy. Instead, the only fantasies it peddled were the ones that depicted a fresh-out-of-college confessional writer finding literati success despite a dearth of detectable talent. If you guessed that the word quixotic has something to do with Don Quixote, you're absolutely right. The hero of Cervantes' 17th century Spanish novel, the ingenious Hidalgo Don Quixote de la Mancha, didn't change the world by tilting at windmills, but he did leave a linguistic legacy in English. The adjective quixotic is based on his name and has been used to describe unrealistic idealists since at least the early 18th century. The novel has given English other words as well. Dulcinea, the name of Quixote's beloved, has come to mean mistress or sweetheart, and Rocinante, which is sometimes used to refer to an old horse, comes from the name of the hero's less than gallant steed. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.
It's Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day for December 8th. Today's word is intrepid, spelled I-N-T-R-E-P-I-D. Intrepid is an adjective. It means fearless, bold, and brave. Here's the word used in a sentence from Time by Megan McCluskey. After a trio of tech billionaires are forewarned of an apocalyptic superbug and flee to a secret doomsday bunker to save only themselves, an unlikely group of friends embark on an intrepid mission to take down the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world. Beginning with the end of civilization and jumping back and forth through time, Naomi Alderman, the award-winning author of 2016's The Power, weaves a cautionary tale of what society stands to lose in a near future where AI has transformed all walks of life. If you're going to name a ship, whether an aircraft carrier or an interstellar starship, you could do worse than to name it the Intrepid, as both the United States military and Star Trek writers have done, respectively. Technically, Intrepid is a class of Trek ships that includes the Voyager, but you get the drift. Intrepid, after all, comes from the Latin word intrepidus, itself formed by a combination of the prefix in, meaning not, and the adjective trepidus, meaning alarmed. When not designated sea or space vessels, intrepid aptly describes anyone from explorers to reporters who ventures bravely into unknown territory, though often you'll see the word loaded with irony, as in an intrepid couch surfer endeavored to watch every installment of the beloved sci-fi series in chronological order. Intrepid word lovers may be interested to know of the existence of the word trepid, meaning fearful. It predates intrepid, but most are too trepid or simply unaware of its existence to use it. With your word of the day, I'm Peter Sokolowski.
Visit Merriam-Webster.com today for definitions, wordplay, and trending word lookups.